What's going on, everybody? This is Capt Kyle Johnson with the Speckled Truth. We've been on quite of a swim bait kick lately, like the video that Keith did showing the swim baits, and there's a couple comments on there, people asking what exactly we consider a swim bait, and everybody's different. I know a lot of people, when they hear swim bait, they're going to think of something like this that's pre-rigged, and this is a Egret Baits Voodoo Mullet, 4.5 inch, half-ounce weight. And it's got a treble hook hanging from it. Sometimes I'll change it out, put an inline on there, and work it in grassy conditions. But I consider that a swim bait, of course. And then a lot of people, for some reason, don't consider this a swim bait, but it is. And that's just an unrigged soft plastic. And usually if I use the term swim bait, and I think this goes for a lot of guys, they're referring to a bigger soft plastic. This is a 5 inch. This is the Wedgetail Mullet made by Egret Baits. That's the packing it comes in. And this bait is just absolutely killer. It's been around for a while. I mean, it's been around for quite a while, and it got big, and then it just kind of died off a little bit. You know, that happens. And I feel like it's really making a comeback now. And this is one of the original ones. I got this, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, somewhere around there. And the original ones came with a slit in it already, like a little weedless slit to go in there. And that got taken out, so the ones you get now don't have one. But I've talked to the owner, and new ones, the new molds, they're gonna put the slit back in there. But it's nothing. Just to get a razor, just a utility knife, and just slit it in there real quick, just for a better hook set when you get these. I like to use the VMC hooks, the 5.0s. So what I found to be the absolute best for me. I like the Weightless, in anywhere from 2 to maybe 5 foot of water. It just sinks so slow. And it's just you have an opportunity to present a very large profile swim bait in conditions you usually don't. Because like this, you know, this is a half-ounce weight. Good luck working this around some rocks in 2 feet of water. You're going to lose it quick. So this, I mean, I'll work this through rocks, and I'll bounce it on top of them, and grass and everything. And not only that, it sinks slow. And when they hit this thing, it's like a corky thump. I mean, they absolutely slam it. And I'm just gonna go real quick, show you how to rig it up. It's really simple. I had a lot of questions about this. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said, this is a swim bait hook, and all you're gonna do is thread it on there. Now, you get it set, and you kind of try to see where that hook's gonna lay. See if I can get a little better view here. Where that hook's gonna lay. And this is where people, I don't know why they have such a hard time with this, but so I'm gonna open it up, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it sideways. The key to this, and this goes for like any bait you're rigging weedless, is you want to go straight up and down with that hook when you insert it. You know, a lot of people, they come in at an angle or whatever, and it's just super easy. I mean, I'm just gonna go straight down in there. Kind of hard to do it stretched out like that. And then look, it just lays perfect. It just lays right on top, right by that fin. And, you know, old bass fishermen showed me this, which I learned a lot of stuff from bass guys. I think they're light years ahead of us saltwater guys. But, you know, that old trick, you can bury that barb in there if you want to just go full weedless. And then when they strike, you know, of course it comes out. But that's how I like to rig it. And like I said, you know, 2 to 5, maybe even 6 foot of water if I have a lot of patience that day. Because I mean, it takes a while to get down there. And you can also do like a traditional jig head. This is the jig heads that they sell on egretbaits.com. And it's a very good jig head. I like it a lot, actually. It's a shorter shank than I normally like. But like I said, they don't, this is a 5-inch bait. They're not going to tap this like a little 12-inch trout. I mean, they're trying to inhale this thing. So you don't necessarily have to have a super long shank. But I recently picked up some of these redfish eyes by Ice Strike, and it's got a really long shank, and they sit on there really good. And these little keepers on here, these little keepers that they got on there, they hold it really, really good. The only drawback that I see with this hook, and I hate to say something bad about it, but it's just part of it, these keepers hold too good. So this isn't really the type of jig head you want to use if you're going to be changing a lot of colors. When you take this jig head out, unless there's something I don't know, you're gonna tear the front of this bait up, and it's gonna be really hard to put use that bait again, because I know sometimes you're trying to get that one certain color. But if you know what you're gonna throw like this, I have so much confidence in this bait right here. This is the Black Diamond. It's seriously my go-to bait. Edward Crum actually caught his biggest trout over 8 pounds on this 5-inch wedgetail, and it made him a believer. I've been preaching about him for years, but I throw this bait anywhere in any condition. It's just they love it. Especially, I don't know what it is, but something about around rocks, they love this black mullet. But this green chili pepper, it's just like a traditional avocado type color. They love this too. I mean, we all know how much they love this color. But there's also another thing to it, which a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but don't knock it till you try it. The setup I use is a 7'9" medium heavy spinning rod. And this is rated for 3/8 to 1 ounce weights, but I throw this weightless, and right now I got a 1/8 ounce trocar on there. And that hook does all right. It's not bad. I wish it was a little more wide gap, but it gets the job done if I need just a little bit of weight. Last time we were throwing this, it was super, super windy, and I had to put something on there. But if it's not, I mean, I'm talking super wind, I'm talking like 15, 20 miles an hour blowing here, that's pretty good. So I needed something to be able to throw into that wind. But other than that, throwing it weightless, you can surprisingly launch this thing. But I think the reason I get away with a medium heavy rod on a weightless bait is this wedgetail. I mean, this thing, it creates resistance. Like if you've ever thrown like a catch 5 mirror lure, that wobble that you feel in there, you feel that with this. So when I throw this out there, I chunk it, wait a couple seconds, and I'd work it actually just like a catch 5. It's a pop, but it's also like a pull pop. It's I'm pulling it and popping it at the end. I'll do it 2 or 3 times and then let it sink down. And the key to that, of course, is keeping that line relatively tight while it's sinking, because they're gonna smack it and you're gonna feel it, but you don't want a lot of slack in that line. I think we all know that. But I think that this wedgetail, it gives it so much resistance in the water that I can still feel it just fine. And I really don't need a super light action rod, because it's never a finicky bite with this. I don't know how many times I can say it, but they smack the crap out of it. So I don't need a super sensitive rod. And I like this 7'9". I mean, this is my wading rod for this and top water and a lot of other things, but it's so long that it's got a really good action at the end. And this is a Timble Fork Outfitters inshore series, and yeah, I got the 30 inches on there in case I'm ever out and I get that dirty 30. I got some proof right here. So just a lot of you guys go ahead and slap that on there so you don't lose it. But also on my bait caster setup, the same day that we were fishing not too long ago, it was actually Edward Crum and I and Shane Overstreet. It was real windy, so I went with the 1/4 ounce Ice Strike, and we were fishing in like it was 5 to 8 foot of water, and the current was actually ripping pretty good. And this is a 7'6" Cajun custom Valor rod, and I like it a lot. This is the first time I threw it. I don't know what it is. I like throwing those real long rods. I like to be able to get really far cast, and this rod did really well with this quarter ounce. It's a really solid setup. But that's how I like to rig it, and that's how I like to fish it, and it has been producing just astronomically. It's not a sales pitch, it's the truth. I mean, if you fished one of these, they're killer, man. I love working a big bait that sinks slow, that you can work in those situations that you don't normally have the opportunity to. It really opens up some new doors to look for them big trout. And I really love this bait. I mean, it doesn't catch just trout. I mean, I've caught almost everything on it. But that's how we rig it, and it's been very successful. And if you haven't tried one, I suggest you try it. Thanks for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it.